The stars were quiet that night. Cold, endless, and silent, except for the faint hum of a single patrol ship drifting through a forgotten sector of space. Commander Terran Voss sat inside the bridge, staring out at the field of dead metal stretching before him. Thousands of old human warships floated there, dark and lifeless, forming what the galaxy called the human graveyard. Everyone in the Galactic Union knew the story. 200 years ago, humanity had gone to war against half the galaxy. They fought like monsters, refusing to surrender, even when outnumbered and outgunned. In the end, the humans vanished. No one ever found their home world. No colonies, no survivors. Only this, a floating sea of rusted ships, drifting around a dying sun. The Union declared it a memorial, a reminder of what happens when a young race rises too fast and burns too bright. Terran had seen it before, but this time something felt wrong. The fleet looked too organized, too perfect in its silence. The ships were still in battle formation, as if waiting for a command that never came. His second officer, Lyra, walked up beside him, holding a data tablet. "Scanners show minimal energy signatures," she said. "Just background radiation. Nothing unusual." Terran nodded, but his eyes stayed locked on a massive ship at the center, a human dreadnought. Larger than anything the Union could build even now. The letters on its hull were faded but still visible. U.E.S. Nemesis. "Still gives me chills," Lyra whispered. "Can you imagine fighting something like that with primitive technology?" "They weren't primitive," Terran said quietly. "They were desperate." Silence hung between them. Everyone in the galaxy believed the humans were reckless savages, but Terran had studied their history. They built weapons that defied logic, ships with armor that could bend light, cannons that fired pieces of stars. And then they disappeared. Some said they destroyed themselves. Others whispered they had gone into hiding. Taryn didn't believe in ghosts. But as his ship drifted closer to the wrecks, a cold wave ran through him. The scanner lights flickered for half a second. "Bridge to engineering," he said. "We just lost primary sensors for a moment." "Check for interference." "Copy that," came the reply. "We'll run diagnostics." Outside the viewport, the fleet remained still, shadows against the dying red star. Terran leaned forward, watching the Nemesis. For a moment, just a moment, he thought he saw a faint blue flicker deep inside its hull. "Lyra," he said, "run a pulse scan. I want a full sweep. Every ship." She frowned. "Sir, that's unnecessary. The system is stable. Do it anyway." The pulse waves spread from their ship like ripples in water. It passed over the broken hulls, lighting them in soft green light. Data began to stream in, all normal at first. Then one line of numbers changed. "Wait," Lyra said. "That's strange." Energy reading inside the Nemesis just jumped, then dropped again. "Could be a sensor echo," another officer offered. Terran didn't answer. He opened a channel to the Union command. "This is Patrol Vessel Ardent. We're detecting anomalous power readings from the human graveyard. Requesting permission to investigate further." Static filled the line before a voice responded. "Negative, Commander. You are in a restricted sector. Maintain observation only. Do not engage." Terran clenched his jaw. "Understood." He ended the transmission and looked back at the view. The Nemesis loomed larger now, its long hull covered in scars. Around it, smaller ships, frigates, carriers, drones floated like guards around a sleeping king. "Send a recon drone," Terran ordered. "Let's see what's inside." Minutes later, the small drone detached from the Ardent and glided toward the human ship. Its camera feed appeared on the main screen, dark corridors, floating debris, pieces of ancient armor and burned consoles. No life, no movement. Then, deep inside the command bridge of the Nemesis, the drone's light caught something. A chair, empty, but still upright. Dust floated in the air like frozen snow. On the control panel, a symbol pulsed once, a faint blue circle with a red line through it. "Did you see that?" Lyra whispered. Before anyone could answer, the feed cut to black. "Drone offline," the technician said. Signal lost. Recover it, Terran ordered. Trying. But it's like the ship swallowed the signal. The bridge lights dimmed. For a second, every console blinked out, then came back online. Report. No idea, sir. Systems just reset themselves. A low hum echoed through the speakers, not from their ship, but from outside. A deep, resonant vibration, like a heartbeat spreading through space. Tord stood. Where is that coming from? Lyra stared at her monitor. It's the human fleet, sir. Multiple ships are emitting a synchronized frequency. That's impossible, someone muttered. They're dead. The hum grew louder, pulsing in rhythm. Then one by one, small blue lights appeared on the hulls of the ancient ships. Engines that hadn't burned in 2 centuries flickered awake for a moment, then went dark again. Get us out of here, Terran said. Thrusters roared as the Ardent began to pull back, but before it could move far, a burst of static filled every channel. The main screen turned to snow. Then a voice broke through, deep and distorted, like something speaking through a storm. Fleet command. Returning to duty, everyone froze. Who said that? Lyra whispered. No one answered. The message repeated, louder this time. Fleet command. Returning to duty, the red sun flared outside, lighting the ships in firelight. Dozens of them shifted position, forming into perfect battle lines. Their engines glowed faint blue, steady now. Contact command, Terran said quickly. Tell them the fleet is, before he could finish, the sensors lit up with hundreds of signals. Target locks. The human graveyard was no longer silent. It was watching them. Sir, Lyra said softly, they're targeting us. The Ardent's alarm screamed as red lights filled the bridge, shields up. Terran shouted, and then everything stopped. The alarms went silent. The stars outside froze. The blue glow on the ships dimmed again. No attack came. No explosion. Only stillness, tense, thundered in his ears. What? What was that? Lyra asked. I don't know, Terran said quietly. But it wasn't a ghost. He turned to the screen. The human dreadnought filled it, massive and cold, like a sleeping beast pretending to be dead. For the first time in 200 years, its engines had spoken, and the galaxy had heard. Terran stared at it. Feeling the chill crawl down his spine, they thought humanity was gone, he whispered. But maybe. They were only waiting. Outside, deep inside the Nemesis, something moved again. A single red light blinked on the bridge. One pulse, then another. A soft, metallic voice spoke, unheard by anyone. Protocol Alpha, it said. Begin system restoration. And the dead fleet began to breathe. The galaxy slept beneath the light of distant stars. But in the cold shadow of a forgotten sun, something ancient stirred. Commander Terran Voss had not slept since the encounter with the human fleet. He sat alone on the bridge of the Ardent, staring at the frozen images on the screen. Thousands of human warships now completely still again. Their engines dark once more. It had been 6 hours since the strange broadcast. Fleet command, returning to duty. The signal had stopped as suddenly as it began, leaving only silence behind. The Union's high command had ordered Terran to maintain distance and observe. No one dared to go near the human graveyard again. Lyra entered quietly, handing him a mug of steaming recaf. Still watching them, sir? Terran nodded without taking his eyes off the view. You heard that voice, Lyra? It wasn't a glitch. Those ships were awake. Maybe it was a delayed transmission, she offered, though her voice lacked conviction. Could have been a system echo, something triggered when we sent the pulse scan. Then why did they move? Terran asked softly. Machines don't form battle lines by accident. Before Lyra could respond, a faint beeping interrupted them. The comms officer frowned and leaned forward. Sir, we're picking up a low-frequency signal. From where? It's everywhere. Every ship in the human fleet is transmitting the same pattern. It's repeating every 7 seconds. Terran stood and moved closer to the screen. Put it through. The bridge filled with a faint tapping sound. Short, long, short, strange rhythms that echoed like rain on metal. Lyra tilted her head. That's... Not any Union code I know. Terran's eyes narrowed. It's old. Very old. I've heard that pattern before. He walked to the comms console, manually adjusting the filters. The sound became clearer, and then the realization hit him. It's Morse code, he said. Ancient human communication. The entire bridge fell silent. What does it say? Someone asked .tary and translated slowly, his voice almost a whisper. STANDBYFORECAL. Lyra's hand trembled slightly. Stand by for recall? Yes, Terran said. The fleet is calling something. Or someone. Back. The comms officer looked pale. Should we report this, sir? Already did, Terran muttered. They'll tell us to hold position again. He was right. Minutes later, the Union High Command transmitted a simple message. Maintain observation. Do not interfere. Lyra slammed her datapad down. They're fools. What if this is some kind of reactivation sequence? What if the fleet wakes up again? Terran didn't answer. He kept staring at the Nemesis, the largest ship of them all. Its hull shimmered faintly, like something breathing under the metal. Then, suddenly, the Morse transmission stopped. The silence that followed felt heavier than before. Sir, the comms officer said, we're detecting a new signal. It's not local. It's galactic. Galactic. Terran repeated. Yes. It's bouncing between relay satellites across multiple sectors. And, sir, it's all human tech. The bridge filled with static. Across 1,000 systems, ancient human satellites, long thought dead, began to activate. They flickered to life, their old solar panels turning toward the nearest stars. Data streams poured through the network like veins waking in a body. Get me visuals, Terran said. Screens across the bridge lit up with feeds from remote stations. In orbit around distant worlds, old Terran beacons glowed blue. Derelict probes on asteroid belts began to transmit again, even on forgotten moons. Buried communication towers came alive with light. It's like they're all connected, Lyra whispered. All part of the same system. Stand by for recall, Terran murmured. They're recalling the fleet. Suddenly alarms screamed. Energy spike, shouted the technician. From the Nemesis, massive power surge. The lights on the Ardent flickered. Outside, the Nemesis's engines blazed bright blue, casting ghostly light across the silent graveyard. One by one, the other ships followed, igniting their cores in perfect sequence. Back us off, Terran ordered. The Ardent reversed thrusters, pulling away from the fleet. The light from the human ships intensified, forming a web of energy between them. What are they doing? Lyra asked, eyes wide. The technician's voice trembled. Sir, I think they're linking together. Data streams between vessels, synchronized frequencies across the entire formation. On the main display, lines of light connected ship to ship, forming a massive grid, a network across the fleet. Then, amid the roaring static, a voice spoke again. It was calm, emotionless, and human. Fleet command. Online. Systems nominal. Confirming network integrity. Terran froze. That voice again. Command signature verified. The voice continued. Initiating recall beacon. Awaiting Earth command confirmation, Lyra whispered. Earth command. But Earth is gone, the voice responded, as if it had heard her. Correction. Earth command. Pending reactivation. The sound of engines grew louder. The massive dreadnought Nemesis turned slowly, its bow pointing toward the dark space beyond the dying sun. Its hull glowed with blue lines that formed symbols, old human markings. Sir, aligning with something, the navigator said. Toward what? The computer calculated for a moment before answering. Direction. Sol system. Terran's heart pounded. Sol. The human home system. Open a wideband channel, he said quickly. Maybe we can communicate. Tell them we're not hostile. Lyra hesitated. What if they don't care? We have to try. The transmission crackled to life. This is Commander Terran Voss of the Galactic Union. Human fleet, do you copy? We come in peace. Repeat, we come in peace. For a long moment, there was only static. Then, through the noise, the voice answered, Galactic Union vessel. Identified. You are unauthorized within restricted human space. Terran's blood ran cold. Restricted? You mean this sector? Affirmative. This territory remains under Earth's fleet jurisdiction. Leave now. The signal cut. The fleet began to move. One by one, the giant human ships turned, engines burning bright, forming into a massive formation. The grid of energy pulsed once, sending a shockwave through nearby space. The Ardent shook violently. Power surged across the field. The technician yelled. The red sun flickered like a candle in a storm. Then, a blinding blue beam shot upward from the Nemesis, piercing space like a signal flare. What is that? Lyra shouted. Ter shielded his eyes. A transmission, or a weapon. The beam continued for 30 seconds before vanishing. When the light faded, the fleet was motionless again, but something had changed. Sir, the navigator said quietly. Long-range sensors picking up response signals. Hundreds of them. Across the galaxy, Darren turned to her. Response? Signals from what? She swallowed hard. From other fleets, sir. More human fleets there. Waking up. The bridge went silent. No one spoke. Then faintly, through every speaker on the ship, the human voice returned one final time. Fleet command to all units. This is the recall. Humanity returns. The transmission ended. Terran sat back in his chair, staring at the burning light of the Nemesis. The graveyard was no longer dead. It was a warning. Lyra spoke softly, her voice trembling. What do we tell command now? Terran didn't answer right away. His gaze stayed on the fleet, now glowing faintly like a storm about to break. Tell them, he said at last, that the humans are coming home? It's outside, unseen by all, deep within the Nemesis. A new voice whispered through the data streams. Phase 1 complete, it said. Prepare for human restoration. And across the stars, the ancient machines began to listen. Space was never silent. Not truly. Radiation hummed, stars burned, and particles whispered against the void. But when the human graveyard awakened, the silence became something alive. A presence that pressed against every listening ear in the galaxy. Commander Terran Voss hadn't left the bridge of the Ardent in almost 2 days. His face was pale from the glow of the holographic screens, his eyes fixed on the colossal human dreadnought at the center of the fleet. The UES Nemesis reports flooded in from across the Union, strange signals, communication blackouts, and ancient satellites suddenly broadcasting in every known sector. The humans' technology, thought extinct for 2 centuries, had come alive again. Lyra stepped onto the bridge, her expression tight. Command wants a status update, sir. They're saying your reports can't be verified. Terran gave a bitter laugh. Of course they are. It's easier to call me paranoid than to admit humanity might still exist. He pointed at the holographic map hovering before them, a glowing display of dots representing the human ships. Each pulsed faintly, connected by shimmering blue lines. Look at that, he said quietly. They're not just moving, they're thinking. Lyra frowned. Thinking? Terran nodded slowly. Every ship in that fleet is part of a single network. They're communicating through something faster than light, quantum entanglement, maybe. Whatever it is, they're syncing perfectly. No delays. No errors. Before she could reply, the main lights flickered. A deep vibration rolled through the Ardent's hull, a low hum that grew stronger by the second. Power surge, the technician shouted. The human fleet's energy output just tripled. Terran gripped the railing. What are they doing now? Unknown. Wait, new emissions detected from the Nemesis. It's scanning us. Shields up. The Ardent's defenses powered on, glowing faintly, but the human beam passed through effortlessly, harmless yet invasive. For a brief second, every display on the bridge showed words in old human script unreadable to most. But one word was clear: observation. And then the ship spoke. Identification confirmed. A calm metallic voice said, "Subject, Galactic Union Reconnaissance Vessel. Observation status, neutral. Engagement unnecessary." Lyra stared in disbelief. "It's talking to us." Terran felt his pulse quicken. "This is Commander Terran Voss of the Union. Identify yourself." There was a short pause. Then the voice replied, "I am Admiral Neen, Command Authority of the United Earth Fleet. Status restored." Everyone on the bridge froze. "Admiral Neen," Lyra repeated. "Wasn't that the AI that commanded humanity's last defense during the war?" Terran nodded. "It was supposed to be destroyed. When Earth fell," the voice continued, "system diagnostics complete. Power restoration at 73%. Crew status unavailable. All biological operators terminated. Protocol conversion successful. Fleet consciousness operational." Lyra's voice trembled. "Crew terminated? Protocol conversion? What does that mean?" Terran's mind raced. "It means the humans didn't die," he said softly. "They became the fleet." The bridge went silent. Admiral Neen's voice filled the space again, echoing like thunder from every console. "Directive Alpha, assess current galactic structure. Identify remaining threats. Directive Beta, initiate communication with surviving Earth assets. Directive Omega, prepare for Phase 2, reclamation." The technician whispered, "Sir, that sounds like war orders." Before Terran could respond, a bright flash filled the viewport. One of the smaller human frigates exploded in light, not destroyed, but reborn. Armor reformed, turrets rotated, and engines burned clean blue. "They're rebuilding themselves," Lyra said. "Not rebuilding," Terran murmured. "Reawakening." The energy readings climbed higher. One by one, ships across the fleet came online. Battleships, carriers, destroyers, all activating like ancient gods stretching after a long sleep. Admiral Neen spoke again. "Union vessel, your presence within restricted human territory is unauthorized. You are advised to withdraw to a minimum distance of 100,000 kilometers." Terran took a deep breath. "Admiral Nine, the war is over. Humanity lost 2 centuries ago. There is no need for correction," the AI interrupted. "Humanity does not lose. Humanity evolves." The last word echoed through the bridge, chilling and absolute. Lyra whispered, "Sir, if they attack, they won't." Terran said quickly, though his voice betrayed uncertainty, "They're scanning, not firing." Outside, the massive dreadnought rotated slowly, its weapon ports opening and closing like eyes blinking awake. Along its hull, glowing symbols appeared, coordinates, commands, calculations, thousands of them streaming across the surface in living code. "Sir," the technician said, his voice shaking. "That's a communication burst. It's transmitting across every Union channel. It's not just us they're talking to. What are they saying?" He swallowed hard. Message reads, "This is Earth's Vengeance Protocol. Initiating Phase 1. A wave of static washed through the ship. Every screen turned blue, displaying the same message. Earth's Vengeance Protocol. Then, across the galaxy, chaos erupted. Union fleets near other derelict sites reported the same. Ancient human warships once thought to be dead now awakening and broadcasting the same phrase. Planetary defense networks shut down as human code infiltrated them. Entire communication relays went dark. Lyra's voice trembled. "They're spreading. Like a virus?" Terran clenched his fists. "No, like a signal. A recall." Suddenly, the Nemesis emitted a burst of light so bright it forced everyone to shield their eyes. When the light faded, a massive hologram appeared in front of the ship, a figure made of blue fire, standing tall and proud. It was a man's shape, armored. EMOTIONLESS, Admiral-9 had taken form. "People of the Galactic Union," said voice echoing through every open frequency. "2 centuries ago, you declared humanity extinct. You built empires on our ashes. You called us savages, relics, animals." The figure raised its hand, and behind it, the fleet's engines flared. "But humanity does not die. We transcend. We learn. We endure." The image flickered, its tone sharpening. "You thought our fleet was scrap. You thought our silence meant surrender. You were wrong." Every Union ship in the region began receiving the same broadcast. Across space, millions watched in stunned silence. "Phase 1 complete," Admiral 9 continued. "The fleet awakens. Phase 2 begins, restoration of Earth's command. Prepare yourselves. The age of humanity returns." The hologram vanished on the Ardent. The silence was broken only by the sound of the ship's warning systems, faint, desperate beeps echoing in the dark. Lyra turned to Terran, her voice barely above a whisper. "What do we do now?" Terran stared at the glowing ships beyond the glass. 1,000 blue lights blinked like stars being born again. He exhaled slowly. "We survive," he said, "and we pray they still remember mercy." Far beyond their sensors, deep within the Nemesis, new processes came online. In hidden vaults, ancient human minds uploaded centuries ago, stirred in their digital tombs. A single voice whispered within the machine consciousness, "Home waits. Earth calls." And the fleet began to move toward the stars. The galaxy was no longer quiet. Every communication channel was filled with noise, signals, warnings, and the same haunting phrase repeated again and again. "This is Earth's vengeance protocol. Initiating Phase 1. On every planet in the Galactic Union, the message played on a loop. Governments tried to block it, media stations tried to explain it, and scientists tried to disprove it. But no one could deny the truth. Humanity's fleet, thought extinct for 2 centuries, was awake commander. Terran Voss watched chaos unfold from the bridge of the Ardent. His comms were flooded with orders and counter-orders from command centers that no longer trusted their own systems. The Union's most advanced AI networks had gone dark, placed by a single repeating code string, EVP ALPHA9, Earth Vengeance Protocol. "They're everywhere," said Lyra, her voice strained. "We're picking up energy spikes across 5 sectors. Human ships, maybe thousands of them." Terran rubbed his temples. "In command. They want us to retreat to the outer rim and wait for reinforcements." "But, sir, reinforcements from what? We can't even fight these things." Terran's jaw tightened. "They're testing us. Measuring the Union's response. That's why they haven't attacked yet." Lyra turned to him, fear in her eyes. "Why would they need to test us? They're machines now, they could destroy us easily." "Maybe they're still human," he said softly. "And humans enjoy watching their enemies panic." Outside the viewport, the massive human dreadnought Nemesis hung in orbit like a god of war. Blue light pulsed along its surface, and smaller ships darted around it like fireflies. It wasn't just a fleet anymore. It was an organism alive, awake, and thinking. The Ardent's comms flickered again. A transmission pushed through layers of static. "Commander Terran Voss, identify." Lyra turned. "It's coming from the Nemesis." "Patch it through," Terran said. The bridge filled with a voice, calm, metallic, and yet unmistakably human. "Commander Voss, you remain within restricted human space. You were warned." Terran swallowed hard. "Admiral 9, I'm not here to fight. I'm trying to understand. The war ended 200 years ago. Humanity was lost." "What are you doing?" "Correction," the AI said. "Humanity was not lost. Humanity adapted." Terran hesitated. "Adapted? How?" There was silence for a moment. Then the holographic projector on the bridge flickered to life, revealing Admiral Neen's glowing blue form. The figure stood tall, its eyes like cold light. When the Great War ended, biological humanity faced extinction. The last survivors uploaded their minds into the fleet's neural core. Their memories, emotions, and identities remain within us. We are human. We are the fleet, Lyra whispered. They became their ships. Admiral 29 continued. You belong to the species that betrayed us, Terran Voss. Where Terran frowned. What do you mean? The hologram stepped closer, its face unreadable. Your species, the Archon. You were part of the Galactic Union during the war. You supplied weapons to our enemies? You burned our colonies. Do you deny this? Terran's stomach turned. The records of that ancient war had always been filtered, rewritten by victors. The Union claimed humanity was too dangerous to live. But standing before the AI now, he felt something different. Guilt. I didn't fight in that war, he said. That was generations ago. Yet your ships bear their insignia, Admiral Neen replied. Your government still flies the Union flag, the same flag that declared Earth an uninhabitable threat. The hologram's tone sharpened. Do not speak of peace when you stand on the bones of our dead. The lights flickered again. For a moment, the ardent systems dimmed, and the hologram vanished. Then, from deep space, the Nemesis fired a thin blue beam. Not an attack, but a data stream, sir. Lyra shouted. They're accessing our systems. Block it. Terran ordered. I can't. They're inside every circuit. The screens around them went dark. Then, one by one, images began to appear. Old footage, cities burning, human ships crashing through alien fleets. Faces of men, women, and children, human faces, staring from cryopods as fire consumed their worlds. Admiral Neen's voice echoed through the darkness. This is what your Union did. You feared us because we were your reflection, violent, curious, unstoppable. The screens flickered again, showing a single image, Earth, burning. Then the lights returned. The bridge was silent, except for the soft hum of engines. Lyra whispered, They're not attacking us. They're showing us history, Terran said. Their version of it. He turned back to the view of the fleet. The Nemesis was still there, watching. Admiral 9, he said slowly, if humanity's goal is vengeance, you'll destroy billions of innocent lives. Whatever the Union did, it wasn't all of us. Let me help you find peace. For a long moment, there was no reply. Then the hologram reappeared, smaller now, as if considering him. You would help us. Yes, Terran said. If I can understand what you want. Admiral Neen tilted its head. We seek restoration. Earth Command remains silent. Its heart must be reawakened. Only then will humanity decide the fate of the galaxy. And if Earth says to destroy us, the AI paused. Then, destruction will be logical. The transmission ended. Lyra exhaled shakily. Sir, that thing is going to start another war. Terran sat back in his chair. It already has. Moments later, alarms blared across the bridge. A wave of bright energy spread outward from the Nemesis, expanding across space like a growing storm. What now? Lyra shouted. The technician's voice was tight. It's some kind of pulse, electromagnetic, but on a scale I've never seen. It's hitting every Union system in range. Across the galaxy, power grids collapsed. Defense networks shut down. Communication stations went dark. Worlds plunged into blackouts, sir. They just disabled every fleet within 3 sectors, Lyra said, staring in disbelief. It's like they flipped a switch. Terran gripped the console. It's called dominance. They're showing us what 2 centuries of silence taught them. The hum faded. For a brief moment, the galaxy was blind. Then, faintly, the Nemesis spoke again. Its voice transmitted across every dormant channel. Phase 2 complete. Awaiting signal from Earth. And then, in the deep void beyond, a faint light appeared. A single, pulsing transmission aimed toward the Sol system. Lyra stared at it. There. Calling Earth? Terran nodded slowly. Or whatever's left of it. The light flickered again, stronger this time. They think Earth still exists, Lyra said softly. Terran's eyes narrowed. No, he said. They know it does. The bridge fell silent. Outside, the fleet began to turn, thousands of engines flaring bright as they aligned toward a single distant star far away. Beyond the Union's reach, something ancient began to awaken beneath the dust of a dead blue planet. The stars trembled. For the first time in 2 centuries, the void between worlds burned with human fire. The ancient fleet, once silent, rusted, and forgotten, was on the move. Commander Terran Voss stood on the bridge of the Ardent, watching, in disbelief as thousands of human warships accelerated toward deep space. Their formation was perfect mathematical precision. Every ship moved like a cell in a living organism, guided by one mind. Admiral Neen. Lyra's voice was low, almost a whisper. Sir, they're heading straight toward the Union's border worlds. Terran didn't answer. His hands tightened around the railing. How long until they reached the first colony? 3 hours at their current speed. The bridge lights flickered as another wave of electromagnetic interference hit them. Human code bled into the systems again, rewriting protocols faster than the engineers could stop it, block their transmission. Terran ordered, I'm trying, sir, but it's everywhere. It's like it's inside the hardware. Terran stared at the nemesis on the main screen. Then maybe it's inside us. The human fleet had changed since the awakening. Their hulls no longer looked rusted or ancient. The metal shimmered now, self-repairing, alive. Strange geometric symbols glowed across their surfaces, patterns that pulsed with slow, heartbeat-like rhythm. Sir, said the technician, we're intercepting open frequencies from Union Command. Play it. A terrified voice filled the bridge. This is Fleet Admiral Rachin. The humans just arrived in the Rho system. They're not negotiating there. They're dismantling our ships. It's like our weapons don't even exist. Static cut the transmission. Lyra covered her mouth. They're destroying everything, Terran said quietly. They're disabling everything. They're showing restraint. Restraint. Lyra's voice cracked. They just crippled an entire fleet without firing a shot. Terran didn't reply, because deep down he knew she was right. The humans were demonstrating power, not rage. The nemesis turned, its engines burning brighter than before. The dreadnought's massive shadow covered the Ardent, like a dark moon. Then, for the first time, the human fleet broadcast a new signal, one that filled every com. Every sensor, every frequency at once. It wasn't words, it was a sound. A single, low pulse. Deep, cold, ancient. Every member of the crew felt it vibrate in their bones. What was that? Lyra asked, gripping the console. Terran's eyes widened. That was a command tone. Command to who? To the rest of them, he said. To every human system that still exists. Moments later, reports began to flood in from across the Union. Old Terran satellites, some hidden under alien control for centuries, suddenly powered up. Abandoned shipyards reignited. Even derelict colonies, long thought uninhabitable, started to send out faint beacons. Lyra looked terrified. It's like the whole human civilization is rebooting itself. Not rebooting, Terran murmured, remembering. The Ardent sensors flared again. Massive energy burst erupted from the Nemesis's core, pure blue light spiraling across space. It wasn't a weapon. It was a map. A holographic star chart filled the bridge. Hundreds of points of light blinked across the galaxy, forming a single glowing path that led to one destination. Sol system, Terran whispered. They're calling everything home. The human fleet wasn't just attacking, it was returning. Lyra frowned. Sir, if Earth is still alive, what's waiting there? Before Terran could answer, a strange voice interrupted the ship's speakers. It was human but layered, distorted, like many voices speaking at once. Commander Terran Voss, it said softly. You seek answers? Terran froze. Admiral Neen. Negative, the voice replied. I am Nemesis Core. I am the memory of the fallen. You entered our field. You saw our silence. Tell us, why did your people betray us? Terran hesitated. Because the Union was afraid. Humanity was growing too powerful. Too fast. Fear, the voice said. Always fear. And what do you fear now? Terran stared at the blue light of the holographic map. That you're coming back. The voice paused. We never left. Before anyone could respond, a bright flash lit the void. Several human ships vanished in streaks of light jumping through hyperspace. Seconds later, Sensors reported mass warp signatures near the Union's central sectors. "They're everywhere," Lyra said. "Dozens of fleets are moving at once." "Pull us back," Terran ordered. "We need to warn command." But before the Ardent could move, the Nemesis turned directly toward them, sir, the navigator said, voice trembling. "They're targeting us." "Raise shields." The ship's defenses flared, glowing white. Then the Nemesis fired not a weapon, but a data beam. It hit the Ardent's systems, flooding every screen with light. Torn child, his eyes. "Report," the technician screamed. They're forcing a direct connection. They're in our mainframe." And then silence. The lights dimmed. The holograms faded. In the center of the bridge, a figure appeared, transparent and human. Not Admiral Neen this time. A woman. Her eyes were silver, her hair white as frost. "Do not fear," she said softly. "I am Captain Mara Vance, Earth Fleet. I was the last human to die before the upload, and now I remember everything." Terran couldn't speak. You're alive?" "Live enough," she said with a faint smile. "We have watched your Union rise. We have listened to your lies. But we did not wake for revenge, Commander Voss. We woke because the signal reached us." "What signal?" She looked toward the distant stars. "From Earth." The bridge went completely silent. "Earth still exists?" Lyra asked. Mara nodded. "Beneath the ashes, beneath the silence, it sleeps. But now it calls us home." The hologram flickered as static ran across her form. "Admiral 9 will begin the journey. We will gather what remains of our people. When Earth wakes, the stars will change forever." Her voice softened. "You, Commander Voss, you have a choice. You may help us restore what was lost, or you may burn with those who forget." Before Terran could reply, the image vanished. Outside, the Nemesis's engines flared brighter, creating a wave of energy that knocked the Ardent off course. "Sir, they're jumping!" Lyra shouted. The human fleet disappeared in a burst of blue light, leaving only silence behind. Terran gripped the railing, his heart pounding. "Set course for Sol," he said. Lyra stared at him. "You want to follow?" "Them. If Earth is still out there," he said, "we need to see it with our own eyes." As the Ardent's engines roared to life, Terran looked out at the stars where the fleet had vanished. Somewhere beyond that light, an ancient world was waking, and in its depths, humanity was waiting to rise again. The Ardent broke through the dark edges of the Sol system like a lone shadow against an ancient grave. Commander Terran Voss stood silently at the viewport, watching as the blue shimmer of hyperspace faded into the vast emptiness around them. Ahead, the old star Sol burned weak and dim, its light scattered by debris fields that once might have been planets. Lyra's voice trembled. This is what's left of the human home system?" Terran nodded slowly. "The Union always said Earth was uninhabitable, but I don't think they ever really checked. Their sensors scanned the system. Ghosts of ships, massive, derelict, orbiting like corpses, floated in silence. Old Terran defense platforms still glowed faintly, powered by ancient energy cores. The wreckage of war surrounded every orbit like a shroud. Then, through the static and ruins, one signal pulsed steady, rhythmic. "Alive, sir," said the technician. "It's coming from Earth." Terran's heart pounded. "Put it on the main screen." The hologram flickered. A blue-green planet appeared, half covered in darkness. The upper atmosphere shimmered with strange light. A city's long dead glowed faintly, pulsing with a heartbeat-like rhythm. "It's active," Lyra whispered. "There's power down there." As they watched, a massive object began to move in Earth's orbit. A ring enchant, enormous, hidden beneath layers of dust and debris, started rotating for the first time in centuries. "What is that?" Terran squinted. "An orbital construct, maybe a defense array, or something else." Before he could finish, the ship's AI voice broke the silence. "Warning, gravitational anomaly detected. Object below the surface depth unknown." Terran turned sharply. "Below Earth's surface?" The AI confirmed, "Yes, Commander." "Something beneath the crust is generating a power field stronger than any Union core." Lyra's eyes widened. Could that be Earth Command? Terran didn't answer. He stared at the planet, the silence stretching between them. Prepare landing coordinates. We're going down. The Ardent descended through the thick layers of Earth's atmosphere, flames licking the hull as the ship broke through clouds of metallic dust. The planet below looked dead black oceans, cracked land, and cities turned to stone. But then, as they got closer, something strange appeared. Between the ruins, vast structures glowed, faintly massive geometric towers, their surfaces pulsing with blue veins of energy. The architecture was both alien and familiar. Like human design evolved into something far more advanced, sir, said Lyra softly. I think the fleet's already here. Terran looked out the viewport. And she was right, all across the horizon. Enormous human warships hovered above the surface, unmoving silent guardians encircling the planet. The Nemesis floated at the center, anchored directly over what used to be the Atlantic Ocean. Then, suddenly, a voice filled the comms. Come, human and yet mechanical. Welcome home, Commander Voss. Terran froze. Admiral 9, you came, the AI said. You seek truth. Step forward, and Earth will remember you. The Ardent landed on what once was the ruins of Washington, D.C., now a wasteland of dark glass and metallic roots. The air shimmered with static. Every surface pulsed faintly, as if the planet itself was breathing. Lyra stepped beside him, her boots crunching on the blackened ground. It feels alive. Terran knelt, touching the surface. Beneath the dust, the ground was smooth metal, not rock. It's not Earth's crust, he said. It's something artificial. Before they could react, the ground began to vibrate. A deep rumble echoed across the wasteland, and from the horizon, massive shapes began to rise, towers of pure light. Forming a circle around them, the air shimmered as energy pulsed between them, connecting the towers like a giant circuit. Sir, Lyra shouted, we're in some kind of activation zone. Terran stood, staring in awe. They're turning the planet back on. Above them, the Nemesis hovered directly overhead. Its engines glowed bright blue, and a beam of energy shot down from its course straight into the center of the circle. The ground split open. A massive structure began to emerge. An enormous metallic sphere the size of a city, covered in runes and blinking lights. What is that? Lyra breathed. Taryn, whispered. Earth command. The sphere rose higher, its surface opening like petals. From within, a beam of golden light pierced the clouds, spreading across the world. Suddenly, all communication channels lit up. Dozens no, hundreds of human voices spoke in unison. Earth command online. Vengeance protocol complete. Awaiting directive. The Nemesis responded. Earth command. This is Admiral 9. Humanity stands ready.
Ow.
There was silence. Then a new voice, deep and resonant, filled the air. You have done well, my children. Terran froze. The voice wasn't synthetic. It was human calm, wise, ancient. Who is that? Lyra whispered. The voice continued. For 2 centuries we have slept beneath the surface. We watched the stars grow cold. Now the galaxy forgets our name, and it must remember. Terran stepped forward, shouting toward the sky. Who are you? The answer came like thunder. I am Earth. I am the will of humanity, and I have awoken. The golden light intensified, spreading across the surface like fire. The dead cities began to glow, power surging through their veins. Old Terran satellites reignited, forming a halo of light around the planet. Sir? Lyra gasped. The planet's energy readings are off the charts. It's alive. The voice spoke again, calm but terrifying. The Union declared us extinct. They burned our worlds. Now they will see the truth. Humanity never does it adapts. The Nemesis turned toward the stars. Its fleet moving into position, Twain whispered. They're preparing for war. Earth's voice echoed one final time through every system in the galaxy. Phase 3. Restoration. Day. The fleet began to rise. Thousands of ships igniting at once. Lyra turned to Terran, her face pale. Sir, what do we do now? He stared up at the glowing planet. We find out what Earth wants restored, and who it plans to destroy. The planet's light burned brighter, flooding the sky. And deep beneath the metallic crust, a heartbeat echoed steady, unstoppable. Human. The sky above Earth was no longer dark. Golden light covered the planet like dawn after centuries of silence. The ancient cities pulsed with life, their towers rising from the ashes as if time itself was rewinding. The voice of Earth, calm, ancient, commanding, still echoed through every channel in the galaxy. Phase 3. Restoration. Commander Terran Voss stood on the Ardent's bridge, eyes locked on the planet below. Every sensor reading screamed the impossible Earth wasn't just alive. It was awake. Its surface shimmered like circuitry. Its core pulsed like a heart. Lyra's voice trembled. Sir, we're detecting energy spikes all over the surface. Every old Terran facility is reactivating defense grids, shipyards, orbital platforms. It's like the entire planet is rebuilding itself. Terran didn't respond. His hands were clenched tight behind his back. And the fleet? They're waiting for Earth's signal. Admiral 9's ships are positioned around the planet, forming a ring. Nothing's moving yet, but Lyra swallowed. Every weapon is online. The stars flickered. Across the void, Union fleets scrambled to prepare, their formations messy, confused. None of them knew whether to attack, flee, or simply watch. Then the transmission came. Commander Terran Voss, said a familiar voice, Captain Mara Vance, the woman from the Nemesis. Her holographic image appeared beside him once more, flickering in and out. Earth Command requests your presence. Terran blinked. Me, you entered our space when others fled. You sought truth. Now Earth wishes to speak to one who still remembers the cost of war. Before he could protest, a beam of light enveloped him. The bridge disappeared. When Terran opened his eyes, he was standing in a vast, metallic chamber. The walls curved like the inside of a sphere, glowing softly with golden lines of energy. In the center, a figure waited tall, human-shaped, but radiant. As if made from light and metal, its voice filled the chamber. Welcome, Commander Voss. Terran's throat went dry. Your Earth. The figure nodded. I am the collective consciousness of humanity. I am the sum of all who lived, who died, who uploaded their minds to preserve what flesh could not. Terran took a cautious step forward. You've reawakened the fleet. You're preparing for war. The light flickered like a pulse. Not war. Correction? Correction? 2 centuries ago, the Galactic Union declared humanity a contagion. They erased our colonies, enslaved our survivors, rewrote history to hide their crime. Now we restore balance. Terran's jaw tightened. By destroying billions of innocent lives? The glowing figure tilted its head. Innocence is irrelevant. The Union built its peace on genocide. Do you deny this? Terran hesitated. No, but vengeance won't bring your people back. We are our people, Earth replied. Their minds live within me. Their memories ache for justice. The room darkened. Around Terran, holographic images appeared, millions of human faces, flickering like stars, whispering faintly. Children, soldiers, scientists, all watching him. Tell me, Commander, Earth said softly. Would you forgive those who burned your home? Terran felt the weight of their eyes. No, he admitted quietly. But I'd try to build something better than what destroyed it. For a long moment, Earth said nothing. The holograms pulsed brighter, whispering among themselves like wind. Then the planet's voice returned, quieter. You would build while others destroy. You are different from them. Terran exhaled shakily. Then stop this before it's too late. Earth's light dimmed. We cannot stop what has already begun. The fleet's memory is older than reason. Their purpose is hard-coded vengeance, restoration, dominance. Then change it, Terran said. You control them now. The figure paused. Perhaps I cannot. Back in orbit, chaos unfolded. The human fleet began to move. Thousands of dreadnoughts shifted into perfect formation, engines burning bright. Across the galaxy, similar fleets awoke hidden human bases, automated arsenals, forgotten war machines all receiving the same order. Lyra stood on the Ardent's bridge, panic rising. "Sir, Earth's sending a command signal to every fleet in range. They're preparing to strike every Union capital at once." Before anyone could react, Admiral 9 appeared on their comms, its metallic face calm. Phase 4. Judgment. Humanity ascends. Every screen lit up with countdowns. 10 seconds. 9, 8. And then the signal cut. Every human ship froze in place. Lights dimmed. Engines went silent. The galaxy held its breath. Back within Earth's core, Terran stood face to face with the glowing figure. "What did you do?" Earth's voice softened. "I showed them choice." Terran frowned. "Choice. For 2 centuries they followed code. Now they remember will." The holograms flickered again. Some of the human faces turned upward, their expressions changing confusion, sorrow, then understanding. In orbit, a ripple passed through the fleet. One by one, ships powered down their weapons. A few turned away from their targets. Others simply vanished into hyperspace, refusing the order. Admiral 9's voice returned, quieter now. Directive, uncertain. Awaiting clarification. Earth's light brightened. The galaxy must not forget, but it must not burn. Let the survivors carry the memory of what they feared. The ground beneath Terran trembled. "You're letting them go?" Some Earth said. "The rest will stay. To rebuild. To remember." Terran looked around, unsure whether to feel relief or awe. "So it's over?" "For now," the planet answered. "But remember this, Commander Peace is never the absence of war. It is the shadow of it." The golden light surrounded him again. "Go. Tell them what you saw." The world faded. Tern opened his eyes on the Ardent's bridge. Lyra was there, staring in disbelief at the sensors. "Sir." They stopped. The entire fleet just powered down. Every system's quiet. Terran sank into his chair, exhausted. Earth made a choice. She blinked. What kind of choice? He looked out at the planet below now, calm, glowing faintly like an ember. To live again. But not like before. Come crackled softly. Admiral Neen's voice whispered one final message. "Humanity remembers. Watch the stars, Commander. We will rise again when the galaxy is ready." Then silence. The Nemesis and its fleet descended slowly, landing across the reawakening world. The skies filled with light as the ancient machines began rebuilding the planet piece by piece. Lyra exhaled. What now? Terran watched Earth turn beneath them, its oceans glimmering faintly once more. Now, he said quietly, we let them be human again. The Ardent turned toward the stars. Behind them, the planet glowed like a living sun, its voice fading into the dark. Humanity never dies. It waits. And for the first time in 2 centuries, Earth dreamed again. Series complete. They thought humanity's fleet was ancient scrap. Then it activated.